Guys over there. Oh, just focus, attention to detail. Obviously, we made some mental errors in the last game. I mean, we have in the last few games that cost us, and we correct things once or twice, and we're learning them, and that's one thing. But when you start getting in the 4 or 5 range, it's time to start learning, or we got to find somebody else that can do it.
Of course, you guys look at progression throughout the season, all that. Has there been any regression this season, whether it's from spring camp or fall camp?
No, I don't think there's been regression. I think we're still work in progress, and I think you always are. If you're a good football team, you're always improving. I would just probably say we haven't made the steps that I'd hope we could have made by this point.
Do you feel like the steps need to be made more in technique, fundamentals, and stuff like that, or is it a cohesion thing?
It's all of it, yeah. I mean, we had a couple times the other night when very basic things we didn't communicate. Guys just didn't talk, and it cost us. And then we got times when techniques cost us, times when finishes cost us. So we got to be better.
Sorry if you've been asked this. Has Mason taken over the right tackle spot, or is that still TBD going forward?
It's still TBD, but Mason obviously has played a lot more the last 2 games, so we'll make those decisions tomorrow after practice. But obviously he's played well the last 2 games.
What was the most glaring issue that jumped out to you watching the film?
Really, we're losing too many one-on-one battles in the run game. Blockers are shedding us off blocks. So when that happens, you have a guy fit up and the running back wants to make a cut. The guy jumps from one side, the other side makes a tackle. It doesn't define holes in the run game. There's communication errors. There's technique errors. Not a very good performance the other night. I can break it down, talk about it, whatever. We weren't good enough.
Looking at Utah, what did you see? What are some of the things that stood out from their pass rush, and how much of that is kind of similar to last year?
Well, I told our guys that I think their best attribute in the pass rush is they don't ever quit. They have great motors. When they fit up on you and then they read pass, they're really good at their secondary rush moves, getting off of you after they're fit up on you, and they give great effort. And so we've got to strain, we've got to finish, we got to be good with our hands.
Last week you were talking about, just in pass protection, kind of keeping the depth of the pocket, from guys off the edge. I mean, obviously it looked like a little bit of struggle with that last week. What's the message? How do you improve upon that against Utah?
Well, those things are all improved with technique. And it's the ability to set your hips down once somebody's on top of you, and then and driving you back and replacing your hands, and those are mostly technique things. And so we've been working hard on those this week.
Lincoln talked about evaluating personnel changes. Aside from right tackle, what other spots have you evaluated, and how deep are those conversations this week?
Those conversations go on every week. And they're based a lot on practice and how guys are practicing. So we, some of these things we've been talking about for a while. And we're trying to make strides, and we're trying to let that first group gel and get going a little bit. But some guys are practicing well, and when they get in there, they're playing well. And so we'll make those decisions tomorrow after practice, but we'll see where that leads. But every spot is up for debate. I would say at this point, the one guy that's played really, really solid would be left tackle and Monhigh. Other than that, we've probably talked position moves at every spot.
Of the 6 through 10 guys in that second team line, anyone who really has practiced well and kind of has pushed some of those starters?
Well, Murphy, obviously, because he's been practicing well. I think the guy that's practiced the next best is Killian O'Connor at center, who's a walk-on. He's done a really nice job. Probably the next guy over the time would be Alani. He's had some personal setbacks. He's dealt with some tough stuff this year. So, but he's getting going again. So it's good to see him going again. But you know, that's the challenge, is to get the guys in the second group to be ready, obviously, if they're needed.
7 games in the midst of a 9-game stretch of consecutive games. How hard is it to really affect change at this point in the season and to shore up things that have been going wrong for a few weeks?
Well, I don't, you know, after coaching 23 years, I don't know, because I've had this happen before, and it's like, man, I feel like we're about to get out of it, and then we don't, and I feel like, oh man, we're never going to get out, and all of a sudden we start playing better. And all I know to do is just keep working the fundamentals and just keep harping on the details and all the little things, because when you play good people like we're playing now, the little things that you don't see when you're not playing as good a competition, they start becoming big things when you play good people, and that's usually you know, fundamentals and details of how you do your job.
Yesterday, Lincoln talked about how Utah has, you know, recruited and developed the line play really well. 2 years in here, what do you feel where you guys are at, but also what needs to be done to kind of develop that same identity and that same kind of, I guess, force at those positions?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think we're still in development. You know, the line last year did an unbelievable job. I thought they had a really, really good season. I think anybody watching could tell that. We've had our moments this year. We're hoping to have more. You know. But as far as the overall development piece of it, I think we're still in development, you know, and that we're still recruiting, and we're still trying to fill in talent on the roster and fill in depth, and you know, the biggest thing is when you have injuries, that you have got someone that can come in and still play at the same level or close to the same level as your starters were playing at. But yeah, I'd just say we're still a work in progress. All right, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.